At Granger, we're for the ones who specialize in saving the day and for the ones who've mastered the art of keeping business moving. We offer industrial-grade supplies for every industry with same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders, all backed by real people ready to help. So you can get the right answers and products right when you need them. Call, clickgranger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Boobies!
Hey there, and welcome.
And hi, hello.
Hey.
That's all we got.
Yep.
Goodbye.
We practiced. No, we didn't.
Hi.
Welcome to Boobies.
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 Where we get to talk about your favorite
Boobies.
horror movies.
Yep.
Or maybe not favorite.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about them anyways.
My name's Caitlin,
My name's Joshua.
and we are your hosts.
Yeah, we're
for
the
this
bays with all the booze.
Spectacular time.
We're ready for it. And what are we doing today, Caitlin?
We are doing The Deep House.
The Deep House.
A new movie with a real cute cover.
Yeah, actually,
Cover
I
was
really liked
intriguing.
the cover.
Yeah.
You know me, I like
I
aquatic
love
things.
to judge a book by its cover.
Me too. That's the only way you get in life.
This one, I will say,
Survival.
maybe steered me a little wrong.
I will say that too.
It's not my favorite.
It's
I don't want to
so
put a bias
I
out
know
there, but
I know already before the booze.
Yeah.
We'll start with this is that I definitely left wanting more.
Yes.
And I think that's the main part of it. I don't think that I'm not like really mad at it.
Yeah.
It's not one of those where I like, because there's some movies where I'm like, I really just fucking wasted like an hour and a half of my life.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't that bad.
I was still entertained, but I think mostly because I was just
I was
asking
kinda
questions.
comical.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I was asking questions the whole time,
I
and
was
I'm just
just
like,
like,
wait, but
what?
what? But why?
Most of my notes just have like 8 question marks after each sentence.
So usually all of our notes, like I'll have a page and a half, 2 page. This is my notes.
Yeah, my notes are not that long either because I was just like, what? Okay.
But honestly, though,
Okay,
is that
well, now that looks like
is
a
that
lot.
the magic of the movie though? Because I mean,
We were
for something that I
Involved.
for something that I wasn't really like at the end satisfied with, like the whole time I was still like in it. Like I was still like, and we'll get to the parts where I think the reason why it made me feel this way, but like I was still like thoroughly like my attention was captured.
Oh.
You know, if that makes sense.
Mine wasn't.
Like I wasn't like I wasn't checking on my phone or doing other things.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't
or, like-
checking on my phone. I was checking on someone, though.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
And I had to watch it twice
This is about
because
to turn into the after hours
first
podcast.
time, yep. First time got a little dick down.
Oh,
so-
bays.
Mid-movie, so...
I love it.
It's
Good
the
for
way
you,
that it was like
Caitlin.
still playing, and occasionally I'd be like, "Wait, what?"
I'm supposed to be paying
While
attention
I'm
to
like-
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but at that point, I should have been paying attention to. It was fun.
I've done that a couple movies back. Or I was just too drunk.
Yeah, I was pretty
pay
drunk last
attention.
night too. So then I had to wake
Okay,
up
yeah.
early.
So you guys were getting into it. We're gonna be talking about the Deep House. It was a 2021 release on Netflix.
Nope.
No, right? No, wait. Where was
Amazon
it? Oh,
Prime.
Amazon. My bad.
Epix.
Yeah, Epix. My bad. My bad. My bad.
EPIX.
Yeah, if you want to find it, you can actually subscribe to Epix for like 99 cents right now for 2 months, and then
Oh, I totally bought this or rented it. For
you
like
rented
$7.
it.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I
I'm
so I
stupid.
subscribed for 99 cents, and I'm just gonna cancel it before it goes to the 5.99.
That's smart.
But it's directed by this French pair called French, like not a couple, but there's 2 dudes. They're both French. Alexandre Bustillo, and I'm saying that more Latin than probably French, and then Julian Maury.
Could have fooled me.
And apparently they make all their movies together.
Oh.
Yeah, because I was doing some investigating, and so like they've not like released movies on their own. It's like
they're a
it's
package deal.
Yeah, it's a package deal, and they've
Interesting.
have a few of them ranging going back to like early 2000s. But I mean, not too big of a repertoire, to be honest.
Yeah. When I
or
looked through
catalog.
it briefly, it wasn't that long.
And then where the actors
Fucking Mick Jagger's son.
Mick Jagger's son. So it's like people that like you wouldn't. So this is how it's like. I didn't know who these people were when I was watching it, right?
Yeah.
But then
well,
like
the girl, I recognized her.
so she's a model. She dated Harry Styles.
Okay, that's probably why I recognized
And
her.
I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I mean, all right.
That
I mean,
makes
there's nothing too spectacular about that, but I mean, I was like, oh, okay,
I
you
wonder
dated
if
Harry
that's
Styles.
like, doesn't he got like some songs about some French girl? That's probably her.
She's the Watermelon Sugar High.
Yeah.
And she's the
Because on that album, he says something, and there's like someone speaking French at the end of one of the songs and stuff.
Oh, I haven't really listened to it all the way or anything. So
Interesting.
yeah,
Yeah, she's beautiful.
she was really beautiful. Yeah.
And then once
and
I
this like
saw Jagger's name, I was like, "Is
Mhm.
it?" I was like, "Who else? Who
His
else
name
has
Jagger.
the last name Jagger?" Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I went and looked up just in case, and I was like, "He does look
because
like
isn't
him."
Jagger a stage name even at that?
Apparently
Can you
not. All
take-
of
I was
these
about to
kids
say,
have the
can
name
you-
Jagger.
Can you take a stage name as a surname?
I guess you can do whatever the fuck you want.
Right.
It's your
I
life.
guess. And if you're that
You can
like
get a
rich,
permanent name change.
and if you're that rich,
Yeah.
like it doesn't fucking matter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then Eric Savin is the other person, and that's the person who plays which we don't see him
Pierre?
for long, for Pierre. Yeah.
Motherfucker.
Fuck Pierre.
Fuck you,
If you
Pierre.
ever run into a Pierre, you guys
Leave.
because it's either this guy or my ex-fiance. And I'm just kidding. I've never had an ex-fiance.
I was like, what the fuck, Josh? I had no clue.
That's the point.
I was like, damn, you dropping some facts on me? I thought we were friends. I should have known this.
Could you imagine?
Shit, you just rocked my world. It's like 10 a.m. Calm down, sir.
Ain't the only time it's been rocked.
That's true.
Mm.
Anyways.
Go for it. So let's just start off.
Yeah.
We're setting up with basically we have Ben and Tina. They
Those
have
fucking names.
yeah,
Ben
right.
And Tina.
Bean and Tina, the most
Bean and Tina.
Ben and Tina. Penn and Teller. Oh, what a segue. And so they're basically have a YouTube channel where they explore old ruins and old, like, you know, hospitals, abandoned buildings, places. It's called like what?
The Urban Explorers.
Urban Explorers. There we go. And so we start off with them at this one house. It's a huge house. It gives me like
I think it was a sanatorium.
Yeah, and you know what it gives me? Yeah, you're right. And it gives me the intro to American Horror Story Asylum. Whenever what's the pop star dude? Adam Levine.
Yeah.
And his girl are like going through the house to find Bloody Face.
Oh right. Yeah.
So it gave me like very reminiscent of that.
I can see that.
And but yeah, basically
It reminds me of literally every other.
like found footage, like
Yeah, like oh crap, what's the name of it? I was just looking at it this morning because it's a pretty decent film. I don't know, but essentially it all takes place in a sanatorium. It's pretty good.
yeah.
But we're in the Ukraine too at this point, so they're
Yes.
traveling, like they go all over.
This
It's
is-
not just like in France or anything like that. He's from England and she is American, but
has a French
French
mother.
mom.
Yeah.
And so they really go all over the world trying to find this stuff. And yeah, we're exploring the sanatorium, going around. They're talking about 7 children killed by this nurse,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
And he's basically doing a lot of like, it's like the asshole thing you do when you take someone to like an abandoned building. You're just trying to spook them, really, because that's the vibes I'm getting from him.
It's such a short scene too, like
yeah.
that. I was just kind of like, I almost could have done without this.
Right. And I think it's just really mostly just to set up like this is what they do. They make podcasts or not
Yeah.
podcasts. That's what we do.
That's what we do.
They make YouTube videos about this shit.
Yeah.
But other than that, you're right. It really didn't give me anything. But I think it also did kind of set up like, at least for me, and then leading up into the rest of the movie, like
With the children death?
well, it definitely just sets up more like this is definitely more things that Ben wants to do, and I feel like Tina's just kind of like that girlfriend that's just trying to appease her boyfriend.
She's just along for the ride.
Yeah, and she
trying to-
really doesn't necessarily want to do any of this.
Yeah,
yeah.
she made that pretty apparent
Yeah.
several times. There was
Like, and her-
pentagrams on the walls and stuff in there too. And then we flash to her being underwater
Yeah.
in the bathtub, which I did like that scene.
Yeah,
I thought that was the
I like the way-
lighting, everything was
I like
really
the way
good.
how it panned in
Mhm.
and came onto the tub, and
Yeah.
then she just like jumps up for that air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a cool scene. I liked that. And yeah, even when she comes out from there, like it's when he's asking her like, how long did you hold your breath? Blah blah
Yeah.
blah. She seems like pretty like I'm not that good at this. Like
Mm-hmm.
maybe 3 minutes, and he's like, that's it.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, 3
Yeah, that's a long
It's
time.
pretty fucking
That's a pretty
long.
good time. And then like the way that he's like, well, that's it.
Yeah.
Like he's kind of a dick. But then he tries to backpedal and he's like, no, well, 3, that's good. That's good, babe. That's good.
Yeah.
But I think for me too, it's just like her body language with him. I'm just like, girl, do you even
She
wanna-"
looks done. Yeah.
Yeah, she looks like
She
so
like calls
over
him
it.
annoying all the time.
Yeah.
She's like, you're being annoying.
Well, because he is.
Yeah.
He's a little douchey.
Like, spit it out. You're such a jerk
Mm.
or a dick. I think she called him a dick after he reflexed her with the keys.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And then but it's funny because it's like they have those moments, but then like when they're driving and he's like holding her hand kind of thing, it's like, I don't know. I think it was kind of cringe because it's like, oh, I've definitely been in this spot before.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh,
Or it's like, oh, she wants to escape so bad. She just doesn't know how to do it.
been there in pretty much every relationship I've ever been in.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
As if the McCrispy couldn't get any better, Bacon and Ranch just entered the chat. The Bacon Ranch McCrispy, available at participating McDonald's for a limited time. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Fun.
I'm gonna start crying.
So going on from there, they start driving. The soundtrack for this movie is, I think, my favorite part of it. Everything, the soundtrack was fucking amazing. Spot on. All the music was super good. And I loved this intro song that's playing as they're driving.
Yeah. I liked it so much that
Yeah.
I looked it up.
Yeah, really?
Do you want to know what it is?
Yes.
It is called Fame. I remember that.
Okay.
And it is by that's interesting. Well, yeah, I remember that. It's like relax. I don't have like who made it, but yeah, that's what it was.
It was good.
Yeah.
And I really liked the abrupt cut from the song to the, like, essentially the title.
Yeah.
And I liked how it looked like it was sinking.
Yeah, and
I
like
was
how
like,
it looked like
"Ooh."
all
So it brought us
wavy and
into-
watery, and it gives you like kind of what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really nice, like, sharp transition, but executed extremely well.
Yeah.
Like, when I watched it again this morning, I was like, damn, I still love that.
I like that.
Like, that was real good. So twice that part made me go, ooh, that was nice.
Yeah, and
So-
it definitely, I think maybe that's what also set us up for like expecting more.
Yes,
And not what we received.
exactly.
So yeah. And also too, it really set up. We forgot to. Did you mention the snakes?
Not yet, because I don't know if it.
Well,
maybe
because
there is.
it was- well, at the
she
be-
mentions it twice. I put mention of snakes like a whole bunch.
Yeah, and then like, well, it's at the beginning when they're first looking at that one house.
Oh, okay.
The sanitarium.
It was in there.
And she's saying like, I
She's
hope.
really
Do you think
afraid.
there's snakes in here? And it's kind of setting you up for this girl. Homegirl does not like snakes.
Yeah.
Which comes into play later on.
Yeah, whenever they got and they like started walking down there, and she mentioned it again, I was like, okay, the
foreshadowing.
snake's gonna come in. The foreshadowing in this movie kind of like hits you in the face, like to the point where I was like, okay, that's gonna come into play later. That's gonna come into play later. That's gonna come into play. Like,
I feel you.
it was like it wasn't subtle.
Yeah.
It was, you got it the first go around, and it's not like Crimson Peak or something
Where it's like when you watched it again, it's like, oh,
you're
now I
like,
realize.
Oh yeah, and the second honeymoon VHS. This kind of
okay, yeah,
also
yeah,
gave
yeah.
me those kind of vibes.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
Mainly because I thought he turned on her when I missed the whole like him getting possessed or whatever part.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
And so
While you were getting possessed.
yes, while I was getting possessed, and so then I like came to. But when I like started paying attention again, I was like, what? I thought he like fucking turned on her. So then the whole time I was like waiting for him to be some asshole, and then
Yeah.
he wasn't. But well, he was, but not like that.
Okay.
Anyways, but yeah, the whole time it just kind of slaps you in the face, and I was just
I
like,
feel that. I can agree with you on
I
that.
wanted it to be a little
It becomes predictable
yes,
as like
incredibly,
yeah, as we
incredibly so.
keep going. Oh, I forgot to mention in the bathtub scene we got nipples. We got our nipple shot
Oh,
from
you
a
did?
French girl. Yeah,
Nice.
I just thought that was
I didn't
something
even
to mention.
notice.
Yeah, we got a quick little nipple shot.
oh,
It was very fast. It was like almost tastefully done,
Ah,
if I would say.
we love a little tasteful nipple,
Yeah, boobies.
a little nipple taste.
So yeah, so they're on their way to this town. I don't remember the name of it.
All I know is it's in the south of France.
South of France, and they get there, and it definitely gives me very like House of Wax, like
Oh, yeah,
where the
yeah.
town is deserted, like there's
Mhm.
nobody here, like and
He's sitting there like showing you how all of he calls it a dying town.
Yeah.
And because all the sale signs are up, like people are moving out, no one's really there. And he's filming, and then we get that weird ass person in the window.
which is never a good sign.
No.
In any horror movie.
And then he's like, bonjour. Like, hello.
Which I would do the same thing too, because anytime someone stares at me, I'm always like,
Not me. I'd
Hi.
be like,
well, I
Fuck you.
usually do it in like a like a boo, like hello, what you
"Boo."
looking at? Literally boo.
I love it. That reminds me of like middle school.
That's what I think in my head though. I'm like boo, like what you staring at? Okay.
I love it.
So yeah, they're in the town. She gets some apples, I think, from a store. Which at that point I was like, okay, there's some people here because she was able to buy some apples.
Yeah.
So that's
went
not
over
where
to,
the
like, a
story
little-
is going.
Convenience store kind of thing.
Yeah, and so they finally get to.
Oh, I will say, I want to,
Bring it up.
sorry, there's, when she gets back into the car, she had asked like people about it.
Oh, yeah.
And she says like, they said, and she says it in French, like, you can't miss it. But he doesn't like fully understand French. And so I liked the little translation error where he was like, we won't find it. Kind of like, and then she was like, we won't see it. And then she was like, no, like,
Yeah.
we can't miss it.
Yeah.
I thought that, I
The
don't know
lost in
why, but I liked
translation.
it. I
Yeah.
thought it was cool
Mhm.
because like so many times, like from other languages, words will have kind of the same meaning.
but not it won't make complete like difference. Like I get what you mean, especially in watching like when was Squid Game or like any other
Yes,
those movies
so
where you watch things that are dubbed.
Korean
They're
and-
not
Yeah.
really saying what is actually being said.
Even the subtitles though
Yeah,
are
no,
not, they
yeah.
can't fully like, because and like this happens a lot in anime and like Japanese films.
there's not an exact word.
And
or
so
that.
the like actual meaning behind it is not translated.
Gets
Like it
lost.
doesn't. Yeah.
Mhm.
And so it like makes me so sad that I like can't ever fully understand.
appreciate it for what
Yeah.
the deeper meaning
I
of
mean,
it.
I guess I could go learn Japanese.
That's gonna take time.
That's gonna take a long time.
Yeah. It takes some
Anyways.
time. And then I was just watching the platform too. Because I know we discussed maybe about talking about that one.
Did you like it?
I liked it. It was very like hard to watch almost in a way,
Yeah.
I guess, because it's like it's just such a cringy, like shitty
Real-
storyline that could, I don't know.
loved
But I did in that same aspect of talking about these the words did not make sense with what was putting on the screen and what was coming out of their mouths. Yeah. So I noticed that.
Oh, such a good film. Anyways, so we get them. They are moving on. They go to this little lake that is incredibly populated.
Yeah, but it wasn't supposed to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of people there. There's like there's kids just playing and
Yeah,
food
it's very
truck.
touristy. There's little, what are they called? Motor, those zoom, jet skis.
Jet skis.
All that stuff going on.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically
It's
like.
like a little beachfront lake access.
Yeah. Like super fun.
Which this
With
is like so
Defco.
dumb. I don't know why I can't imagine French people like enjoying themselves at a lake.
Really? Yeah, just to be hating on it the whole time.
Yeah.
Or in disgust.
Yeah.
I think that's.
And then I remember like that they're kids and people too. Like
Yeah, and
but in my head it was like the way that French culture is depicted, I guess, towards
stereotypes
here. Yeah. It's very rigid and like hoity. And so the fact
Yeah.
that they would enjoy themselves like that seems I don't know.
No, I get what you mean.
I
by
liked
that.
getting to see that because then that made me realize that I had this internalized.
Yeah,
kind
okay.
of,
Had to start doing some
reteaching.
Reteaching, yeah.
Relearning.
Oh, that's life, adulthood, you guys.
Mm-hmm.
If you're on that journey with us, please shed a tear. Okay, all right. Let's go.
So they go down. They're deciding that maybe they'll just be tourists for the day because
Well, that's what she wants to do.
yeah. And he agrees to it, but then he's like, "We need some wine," and he goes down. And then this is where he bumps into Pierre. And he comes back and he says, Pierre offered to take them to a perfectly preserved house for a small fee.
Yeah, in the secluded part and place of the lake that is hard to get to, not easily accessible.
Not on any map.
And at that point, too,
Which
I'm
is
just like, red flag. And I'm like, wait, homeboy, you went to go get some wine and you came back with all this information and you got yourself a trip, like a ride there?
Yeah.
Like, what?
Well, Pierre, like for a small fee, I guess the small fee was their life.
Yeah.
They drove Pierre, though.
Right?
Like,
He
just told him where to go.
I can tell you, turn here and turn
yeah,
here.
exactly. So I was just like, what? And then on the food truck, I don't know what this word means, but it said 100% like TERROIR, but it kind of looks like 100% terror.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know how to, I can't speak French.
Yeah, I can't either.
Terroir. I don't fucking know. I sound like I
Maybe that's how it's
can't
said
talk.
in French.
Yeah, but so I don't know what that word means, but I did like
It means
that.
ice cream. Just kidding.
I did like that it looked like 100% terror.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was like a cool little
Also, like, kind of foreshadowing moment.
because Pierre's sitting right in front of it.
That's true. And so, yeah, he comes back to her. He's telling her this, like, let's go do that. And she's like, I thought we were going to be tourists. And,
Yeah,
you know,
she doesn't wanna do
she's
it.
really, like, what's the word? Apprehensive of, you know, saying, like, yes, okay. But then she's like, okay, let's do it. So they end up going with Pierre. He's taking them on this little, well, like we said, he's directing them on, while,
And being
Tina's
creepy as
driving.
fuck the whole time. He's just eyeing her,
Yeah.
and I do not like
yeah,
it.
it definitely gives you creepy old man vibes.
Yeah.
Especially if you're like in another like country kind
Yeah.
of thing. Like that's also kind of creepy. And they're kind of talking, and then at one point he switches up from just speaking in English to speaking in French because he realizes that she's French. And well,
and God,
you know,
the way
half
she
French.
spoke French,
That's so beautiful.
so fucking beautiful. I was
Yeah.
like, I could listen to her speak French all
I've
day.
always enjoyed French. I've always,
Yeah,
like,
it is a very beautiful
I guess
language.
because it gets like romanticized a lot. So like growing up, I was like, man, I want to learn French.
Yeah,
Omelette de fromage.
yeah, that's all I know too.
Yeah.
And I know Le Poisson was
Le
like
poisson, le poisson.
yes,
Ho, ho,
you
ho.
know.
Yes, Little Mermaid.
It's just fish.
It's just fish. So yeah, so he's then like kind of asking her personal questions, I would say, or not personal, well,
Just asking like why she knows.
French. But then
French.
she goes into like, well, my mom this, and
Yeah.
then telling him where they're from. So that's how we get to know that Ben is English and from England, and he's studying, or he doesn't study. He's just loves history, I guess,
Yeah.
and loves ruins and
Yeah.
go. And that's where she says like, oh, you know, he loves going through ruins, and me
she
not
goes
so
like,
much, but I'm kind
I
of getting
guess I
fond
kind
of
of
it.
like it now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then Homeboy comes in. He says, "Do I need to pay for subtitles?"
Yeah.
I love that line so
I did
much.
too.
He was like, I was like, that was good.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny.
It's also one of those moments too where it's like, and it's kind of just general with anybody. I guess I've realized it too. It's funny because being Hispanic and being able to speak Spanish, there's a lot of like, some people will say like, oh, why are you talking about me? Or talking like people think you're talking about them or saying something that you don't want them to hear.
Yeah.
Which like 99% of the time that's true. But like also like no, usually probably not the case. But
Yeah.
so then I've felt it being in other places where I've heard people speaking not Spanish but a different language. I'm like, oh wait, what are you saying?
Yeah.
And not necessarily like I think you're seeing something about me, but it's kind of like FOMO almost. It's like I want to know.
I want to know.
I want to
yeah.
know what's going on.
I'm a nosy ass bitch. Tell me.
And also it's just cool to hear a different language.
Yeah.
But I definitely felt like Ben was getting the like insecure vibes. Of, like, no, stop talking about me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me get in here.
Yeah, for sure.
And this is where Pierre then goes, we're gonna have to cover the last couple of miles
Yeah.
by foot. And he was like, it's super isolated. And both of them were like, what?
What the fuck?
Yeah, because they got all their fucking scuba gear, and Peeping Tom, the
little
was that
drone,
called?
water
Drone.
drone. Yeah.
I almost said rover. But
Rover of the sea,
and
the lake.
so I'm like, damn, that's got to be heavy. And they are having to now hike a few miles
With
in
someone
to get
they
to
don't
this lake.
know, like they're
Yeah.
wholeheartedly like obviously does not
They're
pan
dumb.
out. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Because
goes to
when
show
the
you
moment that it
guys.
was like when he said, "Yeah, it's super isolated," I was like, "Yeah, motherfucker's gonna die."
Goes to show you guys, if you're in a whole different country, just don't even, no tour guides. Just
Yeah.
go do that shit on your own. Because if you're gonna die, it might as well be on your own
By your
mistakes
own
or your
two
own
hands.
2 hands, as opposed to just getting literally led to the slaughterhouse.
Yes,
Um,
which is very much what he did.
yeah.
And this is where he mentioned, or the mention of snakes comes in a second
Yes.
time, and that's where I was like, okay, snakes have been mentioned too many times now.
Yeah. And so he leads them. I mean, it's not really too long of a scene. They get to the secluded part of the lake, which
looks
when-
very beautiful.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, oh, I want to go here.
Yeah.
Like, I
I was
would
like, this is
probably try to
nice.
find this like secluded, like you
Very
could skinny, you
serene.
could skinny dip, and like
Yeah.
not worry about anyone else out there.
I don't want little fishes biting on my booty or
Mm.
something.
There's a fish that goes up men's penis too,
Yeah,
because they're
hard
attracted
pass.
to pee, urine, like something in the urine. And
Would
so
it
it'll,
go
like,
up my urethra as well?
Maybe, I'm not sure. I don't know how the female body works.
Well, we have a urethra, just like you.
Do you?
We have a pee hole.
Like
a
it's the
little
way that
blowfish.
like
No, we pee out of our
anything
vagina hole.
below the belt is like a Barbie doll to me. There's nothing
It's
there.
just smooth.
I just like to think there's nothing there.
It's exactly what it's like. No holes. It's just
No. Literally just like
fucking piece of plastic. All women come
no
born
offense.
with a
No
plastic.
offense, women. No offense. Sorry to all my females out there.
That's funny. It's not your cup of tea.
And so yeah, they're talking to Pierre as they're getting their scuba gear on.
He's still being
and
hella
he's
creepy.
very creepy. But also too, like Pierre kind of like a little hot. Did you not think?
Yeah.
And like this
well,
like
when the light
South
hit on
French
him,
side kind of man way.
yeah, I liked all his freckles.
He was giving me very like, especially how you know how French people hold their cigarettes like that, like like very posh, modelly. I'm like, okay,
He was working.
yeah.
He was
yeah.
like, "This is my good side.
yeah, literally,
Did you get it?"
as he's being cryptic, talking to them.
And says, "I like your sticker,"
Yeah,
to her peace sign. Which then he, Ben. Wait, is that his name?
Ben.
Ben. Ben says that it's the cross of Nero, which I didn't know what the fuck that was.
Yeah,
But essentially, it means peace and evil, and that comes back in at the after credit scene
yeah.
because homegirl's got it tattooed on her neck, and it's just a peace sign.
Yeah.
He's like, them damn hippies didn't know what it meant when they picked that for their
real.
sign.
Yeah,
But I guess it still means peace and evil. That's what he said. So
Yeah.
I was like, I don't get it.
cray.
I don't know, but
But
I guess
also
it.
to and so if you watch this movie, guys, stick to the after credits because there's an after credit scene.
Mhm.
Yeah. But anyways, so we get back, they're talking to him. He's being very creepy about the sign and like what it meant. Yes. And then he basically is like what he says. He says it's a good omen to her.
Yes, he says it's a good omen.
As he gets like in her bubble and it's all up in her face and,
and
like
she just
very
kind of has
creepily.
to smile, like,
Yeah.
which I have had to do that so many times to like creep ass men.
That's so weird.
So like in that moment, I was like, "Oh, girl, I feel you.
Yeah.
They suck.
It's so
Nasty,
weird.
creepy men."
And so yeah, he's basically kind of like telling them like, all right, it's here, 50 meters, swim out, follow the stairs, this and that.
Yeah,
and
it says follow the stairs down, and she goes down.
Yeah.
And then he tells them it's a very romantic spot to propose,
Mm-hmm.
which I was like, "Oh," and then they were talking about eloping in Vegas
That's
and
right.
stuff.
Yeah.
The tiny
Whenever
little
they
drive-through wedding.
Oh yeah, because basically what and Ben's main motivation, I guess, is that he wants to make money and make a lot of. This guy will do anything for the views.
Mm-hmm.
Will do anything to get to basically just make money and profit off of a video that gets a lot of people to see it.
Yeah.
So we're in the water at this point, and they're kind of testing out their gear. That's whenever she's like, "That guy was creepy
Yeah.
as fuck."
I love that it was the first thing she said. I was like,
Right.
"Yes, bitch,
Finally,
you was."
it's acknowledged.
And then
I
he's
also
like,
was,
"I heard you loud and
because
clear."
I also was thinking like, is she not gonna like mention this? Like, is this just am I the only one finding this uncomfortable? And so we're in the water. She somehow impales her fin on a tree, and I'm like,
Yeah.
were you kicking that hard? Like,
I was a little bit confused as to how she
Yeah.
got that stuck. Like I thought maybe her foot got like stuck in between
in
a
the twin
branch.
yeah, but it was like
It was
stabbed on
in
there
through
and
the middle
deep.
of the
and deep.
Yeah, the fin.
And also too, I guess at this point the movie is I mean, nothing's even happening, but it's already trying to create this sense of like fear,
Kinda
terror,
trapped, yeah.
something, yeah.
And then
Could-
we come across our favorite thing that we know, like just in the Ritual,
Yeah,
an abandoned car,
that and it's
perfectly preserved.
and never a good sign.
Nope. That's
Never
when
a
you
good
turn
sign.
right the fuck around.
And I was thinking too, I'm like, why
and
is
in Texas Chainsaw Massacre,
Yeah.
remember they had like 60 abandoned cars.
yeah, never a good sign.
No, get the fuck away.
But
Those
that
cars
means
belong to
someone did
someone.
not make it out,
Yeah.
literally. And also too, I'm just like, car.
I guess
Middle
they
of
did
lake.
voluntarily flood that
Well,
area, so
yeah,
maybe it just was still parked.
part of the
down there.
I guess, but also no.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, but
Maybe it was the family's car and they
maybe just left
they-
it there on the land.
yeah,
on the
whenever
lot.
they murdered them essentially.
So they're swimming and they come to a mausoleum, and it's got the family's name on it, Montag,
Yes, something.
and all I could think was Montague.
Yeah, me
'Cause,
too.
You know,
That's
the count.
Montanac.
Montanac.
I think is what it is. And before they get to it though, they get to the locked gates.
True. Oh yeah, that's right. You're so right. So they see the locked gates that have like, no trespassing. There is
There's like a cross tied to it, a mother like Mary
Mhm.
kind of figurine, a
a saint
bird.
and a bird fully like not.
It looks like it's
deteriorated.
fresh.
Yeah, like just strapped on to the metal bars.
And borderline, it looked like it could still be alive.
Yeah,
I was like, well,
because like
which
the feathers didn't even like the plumage didn't even look wet.
no,
At all.
it just looked like, yeah, it was
Mhm.
weird.
So it was really weird, you guys, because you're sitting there thinking like, why is this bird not like got half its eyes out and like deteriorating? But that also comes into play in the rest of the movie.
That's true. And so at this point, I think it's important to mention that they had turned on music.
Mm.
And first he put on a death metal, which was funny. The fish were like,
Yes,
and
I saw
then, but then my subtitle said to Moody Rock. So
Moody
it
Rock.
changed to Moody Rock, which I did like this song as well. I liked the whole soundtrack.
Yeah.
But that's important, I think, because once they get in there, the music starts messing up. We
Yeah.
start having those technical difficulties.
Which happens anytime you're in a ghost house. Apparently, you guys, the ghosts know how to mess with electrical.
They can drain batteries.
Electrical interference. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Stuff starts glitching.
Which I've also never really gotten that, but it's for the sake of the horror movie, it's gonna be in this too.
Yeah. I mean, it
Or
does
like-
happen a lot in like actual like paranormal investigation. It like because it's just an energy force and it's draining that battery. It's using the energy of that thing
Yeah.
to contact you and be more powerful, like to come across more. And so that's why it drains it. That's like the idea behind it.
That's wild. And so we get to now the mausoleum.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah,
and
they
so
get
that's
through.
when they're looking at it, and she's like, "Oh, damn you, Pierre! It's just a shed."
Yeah. Yeah.
And at that point, I'm like, because you see the bigger house behind it, and I'm just like, "Oh, girl, you didn't see that big old
Yeah.
shadowy
It's right
mansion,
there, bitch.
literally." But yeah, they're looking at the mausoleum, and I think even at that, like that's kind of even like a not a good sign to me. It's like
Yeah, that's weird.
death
But
on the property.
he was saying, he was saying that they were well off enough
Yeah.
to have to
Had
be
to
able to
own
have their own crypt on their.
Which I guess
like,
from
property.
ancestors, because I don't know if they. I mean, they obviously didn't use it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I guess it must have been past dead people,
Mhm.
or it was built. It
For
was
them.
erected for when they did
would
pass.
die.
Because people, I mean, that's so fucking morbid when
Having
people
to
have
plan
like,
your own funeral and stuff.
and
or-
yeah, like if you ever walk through and you see like the double headstones in cemeteries, and it's like one person's name is there, but the other one isn't
Still haven't
yet.
died yet,
So it's
yeah.
like, dude, that's fucking wild to like know that you're gonna be in the ground
yeah.
someday. No, I'm
It
gonna be
hurts-
cremated.
It hurts my head too much sometimes when I start thinking about our mortality,
Yeah,
and then I go into a spiral,
yeah.
and then I have to like, whoop, nope, stop
And I have
that.
to cry. Yeah, it's weird.
We gonna die, but it's okay.
Oh, and all the fish have disappeared.
Yes.
Once they get,
Past the gates.
Yeah.
Really. Yeah.
they just are like, and he says maybe that keep out sign was for the fish.
Yeah. Which honestly, if you go in a horror movie and there's or anywhere, I mean, and there's no animals, you don't hear anything. It's too quiet. That means
Yeah.
that there's something probably malevolent.
Malevolent.
Oh my god! Yes, thank you. Malevolent. In that,
There's
so.
an evil force
Yeah.
presence. Yeah,
'Cause
present.
Animals sense that shit.
Mm-hmm.
They don't
Trust your
fuck with
pets.
it,
They
for
fucking
real.
know. Mm. Mm-mm.
And so they are then swimming up past the oh my God, take it from me.
The
crypt,
mausoleum.
the mausoleum. And they're going to the house because they finally see the house.
And the
so-
house looks so fucking cool. I
Yeah.
do love the way that it pans, and it's like so kind of murky, and there is something about not being able to see clearly that makes you a little bit more on edge.
And so, yeah. So for me, like how I said, I was still kind of captured by the movie the whole time, is I think it's because, one, yes, it's murky and you can't really see. No, that's a big, especially when they get in the house, because you can't really see, and all you can rely on is that flashlight that they have most of the movie. And then the fact that they are in these scuba suits, like in the water, it just all feels so very claustrophobic.
Yes.
And I don't even have claustrophobia.
And the
but,
pressure's gotta be immense.
And so it's just like, it seems very like, and because the camera's following in the water, like it's like all very close.
Yes.
And so
yeah, when they get into that first room with all the furniture, it's like
Yeah.
I felt like I couldn't turn around.
yeah, and it's all very close. So it made me feel like uncomfortable and unsettled, and almost like, yeah, like I was with them too. Like every time she had a freak out moment, at least I'd be like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We had
So,
it with her.
Yeah.
And that's good. I mean, when it puts you in like that, that's
Mm-hmm.
how we like it. But they get into the house. They can't go in through the front door because there's
Before we get so
steel.
they're looking at the front door and it's covered up by steel, which bad sign.
Yeah.
Okay, but they keep swimming, trying to find like ways to get in, and they finally find this little porthole, little window.
which I think ties back into earlier when he was saying that they would put the grains and stuff through the. I don't know. Maybe I just feel like it was that same hole.
Okay, yeah,
It
I
had a levee
I didn't connect
system.
that. But no, I don't know if you remember the fish
Yes, the
that
fish comes out.
comes out of that little porthole. When
which
I
comes
tell
back
you,
into play
when
later.
I tell you that I jumped and screamed, like I hollered, I'd never do that. And I don't know if I just was really not expecting it or what, but like
It was very unexpected, and it was a pretty good little jump scare.
yeah, but I tell you, like I was like, I hollered.
It was, I mean, and it was not like, it was like bam in your face. Like
Yeah.
it was like Jaws.
And I mean,
kinda
after I
shit.
was like, what the fuck? Why did I just scream at that? But I'm just like, it really got me.
It was a pretty good
got
little
me
jump
good.
scare.
There's
And
a
then he
couple of
even-
those in here. Yeah.
He even says, he's like, the jump scares are good for views. Like,
yeah.
and so he was aware that
It's meta.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's
and-
in on itself. So that's
yeah.
pretty cool. But yeah, so just had to, say,
that fish
get
was
that out
good.
there.
Good fish scene.
The fish should got like half of the money from the project,
Really,
honestly.
it was a good little catfish.
And so they get inside, and they're looking around the first room that they're in, right? And there's just
Filled with furniture.
creepy stuff. And then I literally wrote down,
Does it look like Caitlin's house? Is that what you put? That's what I was thinking. I was like, I think I have that doll.
I was like, oh, creepy dolls. I was like, Caitlin would love this. Yes.
Yeah, literally, I think when it pans on that first chair and there's some doll sitting in it, I go, oh, cute.
Yeah, I can see you saying that. And especially when then they came across one doll, and I think this is the one where, the doll had, I forget what it's called when you have different colored pupils.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
One had blue and one had yellow.
Oh.
And it was pretty it was pretty cool.
That is cool.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
I liked when they opened up that box and the fucking snow globes came out, and then they sang Jingle Bells. I was like, oh, this is a Christmas movie.
Yeah, honestly.
Watch
Right
this
for
every
the
Christmas,
season.
y'all.
For like 5 seconds. Yeah.
5 seconds,
Snow
it's
globes.
a Christmas movie. But I
Yeah.
loved it. I was like, oh, well, that was fun. And then the doll jump scare when it floats out is kind of,
Yeah.
I was like, okay, that would have, if I was in that situation, I would have fucking
Creepy.
pissed my pants. I don't know. It was scary. But then it's a way that she fucking disrespects the doll and pushes it away. I was like, bitch, that motherfucker could be haunted. You got to be nice to the dolls.
Literally.
You got to be nice to them.
Well, and that's the way that, like, at this point too, I guess I wrote it down as like Tina is not feeling the vibes here at all, and you can already tell she's like, there's something off here.
This is not a good place.
Yeah.
And then we get the mention of their oxygen level. They talk about the oxygen levels, and it's when we realize that they are due to jump scares and stuff like that. She's breathing
Depleting her oxygen faster than it should.
And so she has to
Which is
constantly think about
already, like-
breathing slower.
And that's such a scary thought to think, like, you literally only have this much time, and like, if
Yeah,
not, I'm dead.
That thought alone would make me start hyperventilating.
Yeah, I'm
and
like,
I would just be
yeah, I think I would be too, because I'd be like, damn,
well, the first
the anxiety.
and only time I've ever been actually snorkeling. The first time I was in the water for about five minutes, absolutely max. But I had like a whole ass panic attack because like with my face being covered.
Yeah.
And then I think the shock of the water was
pressure.
cold, and it was in Hawaii, and so we were over a reef, and it was absolutely gorgeous, but it was an entire other world
It is.
under there, and so my brain was like, nope,
Yeah,
like
I've done
get the
that.
fuck out. This is too much for you to take in right now. I
Off
had to
the
get out.
coast of the Keys, and we did that, and I remember they took us out to the middle of the ocean, which one I do love being out like with just water all around me, and nothing else. But yeah, I remember getting into the water, and I do remember them saying like it was choppier than usual than it should be, but like the sheer force and strength of water, like especially
And
in the
how
ocean,
quickly
like that,
the pressure.
changes, and you feel it on your
Yes.
body and your ears and your head, and like yeah, just like the sheer force of like like I was not even really able to swim because it's like the water is just basically taking me where it wants me to go.
Yeah.
And then also too seeing like all the like wildlife, because I saw a barracuda not too far from me.
Nope, I would have.
And it was
I would've
really
freaked the fuck
big.
out.
It was huge. And then I'm thinking, I'm like, oh, like what else is like out of my, because you can
Fucking
literally
shark.
you can literally only see in through those little goggles, and so it's just like yeah. And then I started like freaking myself out, but
It's scary.
it lasted a while. But yeah,
Yeah, and so
it is a whole different world.
I would be depleting my oxygen levels really fast too. And yeah, I mean, she didn't really want to do this. So it's like, I totally get her.
And so I guess at one they're searching, right? Looking through everything.
And then a weird distorted voice comes through
That's right.
their kind of speaker system that they have to communicate with one another.
Yeah.
At this point, I also wrote beautiful fucking wallpaper. The wallpaper in this house,
I
I
didn't notice it.
loved every ounce of it.
Yeah.
There's 2 different patterns that were just absolutely gorgeous, and I want to have them recreated to put them in my house.
I'll have to go back and look at it, because I guess I didn't really notice.
They were so cute. Ugh, I love it. And yeah, so they're looking through the house though.
Oh, and that's at that point where they're like coming around, like, so they're looking, and then they
get to like a kid's room.
a kid's room, and then at that point, how you said earlier about like don't be disrespectful. That's how I felt Ben was being. Like he was just like rummaging through everything, and
Yeah.
like I'm like, and that's she even says it. She's like, be respectful, like have some respect, like
Yeah.
you know.
We don't know.
We don't know what any of this is, and it was a creepy room because that's when you find like
They were like occult looking dolls.
You find the
Pentagrams in their
dolls,
heads,
pentagrams on them. You
needles.
see pictures of kids like stabbed onto antlers.
Yeah. Yeah, because the way that those photos were even hung up was just like,
malicious. Like
Yeah.
not well.
this was not a like someone they
look at my
cherished.
child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, this is like,
another
it
victim.
looks exactly like, yeah. It was very clear right then that
Yeah.
these children had been murdered. And because I just put photos of kids pinned and I put murdered ? So like
Probably.
right then I was like, okay,
Yeah.
we've got this.
Abducted and murdered.
Yep.
Sacrificed. We will learn.
And then
Sacrificed they will be. And so
okay, Yoda.
but at that point too, that's when he sees like the figure in the like boot
Behind that
the
curtain
curtain in the
thing.
bed. Like you know how
It
beds
was like a
sometimes have curtains.
canopy.
It's very European, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A canopy kind of thing, and more technical malfunctions happen there
That's
as
true.
well. So yeah, he sees something back. It's a silhouette.
Which-
Nothing ends up being there, but
Which I believe, if I'm not, of all the characters that are, I would say that was probably the daughter, right?
Be Sarah,
The
yeah.
Sarah, yeah. And so
I would agree.
they're in there. Yeah, that happens. She's kind of like, stop freaking me out. And he's like, well, I saw a
But I
human,
actually saw
swear."
it,
But
yeah.
it's the way that he sees that, right? First off the bat. But then the rest of the movie, when she's seeing shit, he's just like, no, that's nothing. That's this.
Yeah.
That's, like he tries to explain
Maybe he
everything
got
away.
butthurt.
Yeah.
Who knows? But at this point, Tom, the drone, malfunctions and then
That's right.
dies momentarily. But then it's brought back to life. But so already we're having major technical difficulties now. And they were like, maybe the fish fucked it up when it bumped into it.
That's true.
But not a good sign.
No.
If your like main pieces of equipment are malfunctioning, we've got some issues here.
And especially if it's like videoing and that's your like what you're taking the video with, like at that point, just like, let's go. Like, it's not working out.
Yeah.
But no, there's plenty of like things like that in this movie too, where it's like two clues ago, I would have been like, all right, I'm out.
Yeah.
Like, let's leave. Like, this is obviously not something, there's something fishy here.
Fishy.
And
I would have totally been that dumbass though that was like, let's keep going.
Yeah.
Just because it looked so cool. I was like, ooh, I love this.
At that point, it's kind of like curiosity kills the cat.
Yeah.
It's like you just kind of have to look a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once I saw those kid things, I would have been like, okay, no, this isn't chill. But the first couple of rooms, yes.
Yeah, because at that point too, they're still searching around, and isn't that where they see like the missing kids posters on the wall?
Yes. So they get to first before that happens, they get to the front door and they're like, oh, the front door, and they open it and then they see the steel that locked them out initially,
and they notice claw marks all over it,
all down it. Yeah, it is clawed to hell.
Bad sign number like 206 at this point.
Yes. And then we get the like kind of piano jump scare where the piano plays somewhere else in the house.
And they're like, what?
Is Pierre down here messing with us? Like, what's going on? Or is there another
diver? So they go looking. They send Tom in, right?
Yes.
Yes. And then he kind of clears the way. And so they go in.
Says there was no echoes or something.
And so... But then it's telling them that something is in the room, and then that's whenever she's like, "Wait, are we setting it off?" Like,
and he's like, "No, we're in its parameters."
Yeah,
kind of thing.
And so then he tries to explain away the piano is like, "Oh, it's a chord snapping or breaking."
Yeah,
and then she's just like, "Please stop trying to explain everything."
I have a note that says Ben keeps trying to write it all off, and Tina's just like, "Nah, motherfucker, like,
some shit.
This is some shit." Go. And then so this kind of bothered me. This is not relevant to the film at all. But like in that scene, the candelabras were floating in the air.
Baby, tell me why. I was
like,
tell me why. I'm like thinking like, this is water. Shouldn't it be like?
Yes, and then also candelabras are not light. If those honestly, like the chairs could have been almost the same weight. Those were giant candelabras. Yeah. They are made of solid brass. Like those motherfuckers would not be floating. And then there's other furniture later on that I'm just like,
it shouldn't be floating like that. Especially the chairs stacked on the table the way they were. I'm like, this is not water.
Yeah, I was like, this isn't human. Like either they're just trying to make it look creepy, but if they were just trying to make it look creepy and they neglected the way that physics actually works,
right?
I was annoyed.
But if they did that because it's like obviously this is the
supernatural forces at work, making it, then okay, that's fine. But like,
but it's the same way as like we're talking about like physics and like logic in the whole movie. Everything in the house is not deteriorated. Like, or there's a lot of things that are like
very
paper
books
that I'm just like, this is paper and this is
the
water.
The pictures, the posters. They're not laminated.
Everything should have been deteriorated, like
covered in little
barnacles,
something
like I don't know, but like the way everything was so pristine and perfectly like. It looked like people were just living there, Yeah. So it's really weird.
Like this just got flooded yesterday.
Yeah. And she even mentions that. She's like, this house has been here since before I was like born. How is everything not like,
fucked up?
Fucked up. Yeah.
And this is when they find the missing children posters like pinned to the wall. And they kind of were like, oh, and I think it's starting to click in their head that maybe something unsavory happened here.
There, yeah.
And they keep exploring and they make their way to the kitchen, and I like that the way that it pans in on this like devil looking plaque of sorts. It's like a little plaque, and it's essentially, it looks like the devil is engraved on it. Oh, it is cute. I also was like, oh, I kind of want that.
Call the set.
It was cute. But yeah, so they make it to the kitchen though, and this is where they come across, they're looking on Tom. And there's a glitch, and then all of a sudden it's just like a real big close up of Jesus.
And they're like, "What was that?" And that's why they go in there to check it out. And we see that there is a big Jesus on
Mm-hmm.
a cross. Well, not a cross. Well, it is a cross,
Yeah,
but it's a
like the crucifixion.
Yeah.
Life size. I put life size Jesus.
literally
It's like
because it's
life-size Barbie.
It would be our size. But it's basically so if you imagine the cross and imagine like a door that had like a bar in front of it, the cross is acting as the bar, but it
Mm-hmm.
has Jesus on it too. So
I put probs trying to bless it and keep anyone out of there.
Yeah.
Like they're trying to either seal something in or it's
keep
a warning.
someone out.
Mhm.
And obviously at that point too, I'm just like, no, don't, because obviously
Or
what are they
it
gonna
could
do?
mean through this door is salvation.
I don't see. I wouldn't take it that way.
Well, but at the end though, he's like, "We
It's
are
true.
saved.
It's
This
still
is like
Their way
we,
out.
yeah,
'Cause they have to go back in through that way. So it's like a double like.
yeah."
But even then, it's like.
Because when he comes to like once he gets possessed, essentially, he's just like, "This is fine. We're okay now.
Mm-hmm.
We have eternal life."
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So I think it could also be the salvation thing.
There's double meaning behind it.
Yeah.
And so they obviously, what are they gonna do?
Break in.
Take Jesus off of it, take it off, let the door open, and then they
Now
go in.
we get real murky.
Now we get into the cellar. And they're going down, swimming into it.
You
and
can't see anything for a solid
very
like
dark.
2 minutes. It's very just like particles in your
Yeah.
face, and you're just like, "Ooh, what's gonna
It's very creepy.
happen?"
Like I can't imagine like doing any of that. Like that's scary.
Yeah, no. Once I found a giant Jesus blocking something off, I would have been like, "Hey,
No.
time to head out. Let's go,
Time-
bud."
Let the man do his work.
Yeah.
We gotta go.
You on your own, homie.
And so they're swimming through, and they see,
They find a bunch of video gear and
they
film.
find video. And at that point too, I'm even thinking like, homeboy, homegirl, obviously other people have been here, right? Like this is not a good sign. It's giving me very like in Texas Chainsaw Massacre when all the vehicles are outside. It's
yeah,
like,
it's
no,
like you're
there's
finding previous gear.
of people who have not survived.
Yeah.
And so, they're going through all
They
of
also talk about
this.
the possibility that they were filming the kids.
Yeah.
Which does come into play later.
Yeah.
They film
yeah.
the murders of them. So, but
We-
yes.
Yeah. So yeah, they're basically just all this bad juju.
Yeah.
And
Red flag after red flag.
then is at this point where they like
We stumble across the ultimate red flag.
yeah, well, they turn and there are, I guess the setup I can give you is just that there are chains hanging from the ceiling of the cellar, the roof of it, and around above a pentagram, and there are two bodies
Yes.
strung up in these chains with Trojan horse mask on, torture
Very,
mask
like,
on,
yeah,
and
medieval,
yeah.
Middle Ages torture masks. They kind of look like plague doctors.
yeah,
a
kind of
bit.
like that. And so they see these bodies and they're like,
Perfectly
oh,
preserved as
yeah,
well.
perfectly preserved, and they're like, what the f?
They just
at
looked a
this
little
point.
soggy.
Yeah, like bread.
Yeah.
And so yeah, at this point they're both just kind of like, what the heck? Like this is
Remarkably calm.
yeah, I would say too calm.
Yes. I
because
would have seen that. I would have been like,
it was
absolutely the fuck not.
because it was even so calm to where I was thinking like, wait, are those even real? Maybe they're mannequins because they're acting very calm.
yes,
like,
I
was
did
like,
think
huh.
possibly that they weren't real people at
Yeah,
first.
I thought it was just like to make
I thought it was
look
like
like
more
it.
dolls
Yeah.
or something tied up.
Nah, but these were people, and so
Mm-hmm.
they're like at this point, okay, we should probably go.
Yeah, and then Ben goes to try and explore one other room while they're still down
That's
there.
right. Yeah.
And he finds a bunch of body parts and jars and
Yeah.
shit. Like,
And that's when he's like, fuck.
yeah,
And,
and
she's
then
like, what is it? And he's like, nothing.
nothing. And I put, boy, why you lying?
Yeah.
Why you lying? We don't withhold information
Mm-hmm.
from the group. That is how we get dead.
Especially in that kind of setting.
And then, so, okay, this part, wait, no, that's later. Okay, so this, yes, is when they try to get out and they realize, oh, fuck, we're trapped.
Yeah.
Like, the way that they came now has a brick wall in front of it.
Oh, that's right.
the
Yes,
door
when they
that-
get to the window.
or the window.
The window, yes. It is blocked in by this brick wall. And at that point, Tina...
We're panicking.
Tina is panicking. I would be too.
Yes.
She's got to control her breath, and Ben tries to help her to control her breath, in which she does. But yeah, I mean, I can't blame her. Like, that is definitely like a feeling trapped.
And then she sees the girl, I guess it was
Right
Sarah,
behind Ben.
pop
Yeah.
up. And I'm gonna be honest, I laughed. I just straight up went, like I was just like, what the fuck? That looked. I just put that.
Yeah.
It was funny. It didn't scare me at all. I was
It
just
didn't
kind of
scare
like,
me.
okay, poorly executed.
Yeah, and I was also like that. Like, why?
Yeah.
Why? Okay, but
Because
anyways,
then they just like kind of
she just kind of fades away.
blow it off.
Yeah.
And then they're going and they're banging on the windows trying to get out. Glass not breaking. But then our homie Catfish comes back.
That's right.
And she's like, oh, the fish is here again. There must be a way to get in and out.
Yeah. And she follows the catfish, and catfish leads her right back to the cellar.
Mm-hmm.
And she ends up finding a little window, I'd say, like, you know, like in basements when they have like those little long windows
Yeah.
that a human body couldn't really fit through. But
And
this one
she's
has
like,
bars on it.
We
so
can't fit through that.
she's stuck there.
Yeah.
And then that point she sees that there's a little well,
Uh-huh.
right? And so above her. And so
Where the
she-
bodies are hanging.
is right above, directly above the bodies. And so she goes up, she's swimming, and once again, it's covered up by some bars and so, or grate or something. And at that point, I guess that's when the light turns red on Tom.
Yes.
Yeah,
and
everything turns red.
we've got
and-
this very, almost a little too drawn out scene.
Same. That's
for
what I
me
thought. That's
that
what I thought.
was like, I was just like, okay, I can't
3 minutes of her getting whipped around by chains.
tell what's happening. Yeah. I was like, is she falling? What is happening? Like, I don't know. But
Yeah.
the song, the French rendition of You Don't Own Me,
You Don't Know Me, yeah.
I was like, ooh, that was good.
Yeah, it was good placement.
I liked that a lot. But she, like, yeah, she's
that
just like
song has-
falling. The couple's gone there. They're not
Yeah,
there
no,
anymore.
The
She's
couple's gone. She's
getting
freaking out.
hooked on a
She's
meat
getting,
hook.
Yeah, one of the chains has a hook on it, and
gets in her
gets
leg.
into her leg. She's like freaking out, and at that point, I can't tell if she's just freaking out or if these chains are actually like literally coming to life and
It's-
attacking her.
It's a hallucination.
Yeah, and so which could be to
Due to the lack of oxygen
and all of that. Yeah.
and freaking out, I believe, is what was going on.
But the chains did give me, so in looking back on the directors,
Mhm.
one of their big like inspirations is Clive Barker, who does Hellraiser. And so
Okay,
the
yeah.
chains gave me very like
That
would give
vibe.
me that vibe. Yeah.
Oh.
So
So
I
did the
felt like
pins in
different,
that doll's
yeah,
face.
I gave me different influences. So it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I see that. But yeah, so she's freaking out. Finally
Calling out to Ben.
Ben is not.
He's not answering.
Yeah, but then
we don't know where the fuck he is for this, again,
brief sec.
long
Yeah.
scene.
And but then like it's the way that she comes out of it, or everything turns back to normal,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like, hey, like stop freaking out, like what's happening, like
I was here
and
the whole
he was
time.
like, I was here right behind you, and that's when I was like, wait, I'm confused.
I'll
What
put
is
now
this?
Ben shows up, and then I was like, I guess she was attacked by the chains, but then, and then the bodies were back, and I was like, okay, no, yeah, she's hallucinating.
Okay.
Something happened, like she's hallucinating,
Mm-hmm.
and it was all there because at first I was like, is he in on this? Like, is he just fucking with her, gaslighting her?
Is he with Pierre?
Yeah, but then I was like, nah, like that was too fast, too seamless that I
Yeah.
was like, we weren't seeing clearly.
Mhm.
Our mind was being manipulated.
Mm-hmm.
/ again, lack of oxygen.
I can
We're
see
starting
that.
to see shit that's not there, or rather, it's taking away shit that is there.
Mm.
But I mean, overall, I thought it was like a good scene. Just too drawn out.
Okay. Yeah.
Too
I
much
feel that.
it was just all I could really see was red bubbles, occasionally a hook, and just chains.
Well, it's the
and
way that it
I was
left
like,
me more
what-
confused than
what-
anything,
what-
because I was like, wait,
what?
what's happening?
Yeah,
But-
it's like I got 5 question marks after attacked by
Literally,
chains.
yeah.
I don't fucking know.
And so after that scene, that's when she's definitely like, we gotta go. And so they're trying to find a way out, right? And
But no, Ben fucking takes their masks off
that's right. Yeah.
like a fucking weirdo. Why the fuck would you touch them?
he takes.
What is his problem?
That's right. Oh my god. So he takes the mask off the dead bodies,
And I was like,
and then that's
What?
when their eyes
Go
just
bing.
boom, and that's whenever they're both like, oh shit. these
Yeah.
people are awake and they're free from the chains.
I put LOL, their eyes are open and they're alive, question mark?
Yeah.
Ooh.
And so they creepily start like swimming towards them, chasing them in like a slow, sweepy, whatever. But it's incredibly fast because every time they look behind them, they're right there.
Yeah.
But they're moving so slow, very Michael Myers.
Yeah. Just like our boy Michael.
And so they're trying to get away from them. They get into this room.
And they're shutting
trying
the
to shut the
door.
door on them.
That scene was kind of funny to me.
Yeah.
I was like, this is like an awkwardly
The way
executed.
that the bodies are just
they're
like
just like, they're getting like kind of
shut
smushed.
out. Yeah.
I was like, that's kind of funny.
I was like, this door is damn heavy.
Yeah.
And so they finally get into that room, and that's when they try to escape through the chimney, right?
Mhm.
And
And
so
Tina's hyperventilating
Yeah,
again. So
at
she,
that
again, just shooting through her oxygen.
Mhm. And so they're trying to get through the chimney. They're almost on their way out, but and once
Mhm.
again, more confusion for me because I'm like, why is this happening? What's happening?
Yeah, all of a sudden rocks were raining
Yeah,
down.
I was like, is the house alive? Like, I don't get it. And so like,
Actively something,
Yeah,
like
it's trying
there's
to keep
some
'em there.
force trying to keep them there. I don't know. Was like Sarah up there dropping some rocks
right?
down the
so
chimney?
literally,
Like, what's
she's
going
like,
on?
and so they get like bricks and rocks falling on top of them, and so basically they get separated because Ben falls through the chimney at some point in the second half of the level of the house where it's like a bedroom, and
Mhm.
she's down at the opening of it, and she's losing her mind, basically just like calling out for Ben because it's like,
I do
"Ben."
like the way that we kind of come to
Mm.
with Tom.
Oh yeah,
And it's just an image of
That
Tina
shot.
floating,
Yeah.
like upside down.
Mhm.
I thought
and how the camera does this whole
goes
like
when he comes back to life.
yeah.
Yeah, I
pretty
liked that scene. I was like, okay, that looks good. But then yes, she's
Mhm.
losing her mind.
She's losing her mind, calling out for Ben. He is not responding.
I
of
didn't realize at
course.
this point that he had fallen out on another floor, and so I was
Okay.
like, Ben just dipped again. This motherfucker keep disappearing.
Right on her.
I was mad at him.
He was in a whole different room, and that's whenever the mom ghost zombie
Mhm.
body mermaid, we'll call it at this point, comes into the bedroom with him.
And something, so their masks, like his mask got disconnected in the rubble, or hers did,
Mhm.
and for some reason the like technology is not working, and they
Yeah.
can't hear each other.
Yeah.
They can't, because she has no idea that, well, this shit's happening to Ben
Yeah.
right now,
And
as you were saying.
So he's upstairs. He hides under the bed, and then that's whenever the ghost is swimming around the room, not swimming, walking on this floor.
And this is also where he realizes that Pierre is the
Oh,
son
that's right.
of the Montagnard.
Yeah, he's looking at a family tree and he realizes that Pierre is.
He goes,
their
Pierre, you son of a bitch.
Mhm.
Yeah. And
And
so,
so
he's now like, okay, fuck.
so he realizes that like he got led astray.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's underneath the bed, and like as soon as you think he's gonna make a break for it, the daughter Sarah,
Mm-hmm.
ghost little child, it's like preteen, teenager, pops up right next to him, and then that's whenever that cuts away, and we get back to Tina, and she is.
The lights are now working underwater, which I was
Yes.
like, interesting.
Mhm.
So the house is like coming to
Mhm,
life.
to
It like
life.
still works.
Maybe they draw on like the energy of the people that they like
Yeah.
take over or kill or almost kill.
Probably.
And so
I thought it was really funny looking the way that the bald guy was like chasing her.
Mhm.
I was just laughing the whole time. I was
Yeah.
like,
Oh, and he's chasing her, and she starts going up the stairs
Mhm.
finally, and then she gets up to the room that Ben was in,
yep.
and that's whenever she finds him. She's like, thinking, "Thank God, it's Ben." But he's like facing the other way, all creepily.
Which is always a bad
Bad
sign.
sign, yeah. And then it's like Blair Witch, like him in the
Mhm.
corner. And so then she comes up to him. She's like, "Ben,
Like, what's wrong?
why
Are you
why weren't
hurt?"
you responding?" Like, And he's like,
He says,
very
"I'm better
creepily,
now."
I'm better now.
And it's his inflection
It didn't even sound like the
is
same person.
all off. Yes.
Yeah.
It is very clearly like very apparent that this is not Ben talking.
Yeah.
I mean, it is still his voice, yes, but it was this like lack of emotion
Mm-hmm.
that was also excited.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like,
It was hard to pin it for me, but I also was just like, "Oh, this is different." Like,
yeah.
this is
I-
obviously
she
not
just keeps
him.
talking to him like
Mhm.
normal. And I was like, bitch, something is wrong.
Like, and he's not even talking in like complete, like, not.
Yeah, it's very
there-
cryptic.
It's cryptic. It's not that it's incoherent, but it's cryptic. Like,
Mhm.
not being. It's very vague and being like,
I'm better now.
I'm better.
This
you-
is,
the way
you will be Like, you will be fine soon
follow
too.
me. Yeah.
It's the snake. Like,
So at that point she's like trying to help him out with this
oh,
mask.
and he also
because,
says, "You'll die before me."
yeah, and
is
he's
what
like,
he
"You'll
said.
die before me."
I
And
was
she's
like,
like, "What?" And so at that point she starts feeling something in her wetsuit.
Yeah, it's
and
crawling up
it's
her.
crawling up her, and she's like, "Oh my god, it's in my ribs!" And oh my god, it's going up to her face mask, and then it's a snake.
Yeah,
it's a little baby snake,
little snake.
and
crawling
that's
around.
whenever Ben is just like, "Open your mouth, Tina.
Let
it in. Everything will be fine.
Yeah.
Let it in." And so then she's like, "The fuck not." And so she literally takes off her whole mask.
Yeah.
Lets the snake go out. What even at that point, it wasn't even real. It wasn't a real snake.
Yeah,
I
I was
would
like,
say. It
the
was,
way that she took it off, yeah, it was definitely a hallucination.
Yeah.
This thing is preying on their fears.
Yeah, and that's what Ben says, is that the house knows her fears.
Yeah. And so it's definitely coming through, and it's showing them what
Mhm.
they're scared of.
And so at that point, I guess that's when he's like,
I
go
put
for it.
his voice at the end is just cracking me
Yeah.
up. Like, once they get into that room and the way that he's like saying everything, I was like,
Yeah.
this is borderline comical. But at first it was like, no, that's creepy as fuck, because this has not been.
Yeah.
Not
This
been.
is like, yeah.
But just the way he was talking towards the end, like, he just kept saying so many things that I was just like,
Yeah.
What?
And that's the way too for me too. Like, it was not like, it was, yeah. It was maybe not comedic for me, but it's just like it took me out of it.
Uncomfortable.
Yeah, it took me out of it.
Yeah.
And also it was just kind of like, still again for me, it's like, what's even happening?
Yeah.
Like, what is this?
What the fuck's going
okay.
on?
And so yeah, then we get him. I guess he's leading her back down to the cellar, right? At
yeah,
this
and
point?
and they're like some movie room, yeah.
Oh, they go to
And
the
they've got
theater.
reels showing Pierre and his father killing and sacrificing the kids.
That's when he's explaining to her like that the Montagnac's would steal kids from
Mm-hmm.
the farm towns or whatever and then sacrifice them, and they would film them, and then that eventually the parents came back to seek retribution.
Townspeople said
they,
no.
yeah, and so they came and killed Sarah in her own bed, the daughter, and then they hung up the parents and like did all that stuff and put the mask on them to like shame them and torture them basically. And Pierre was the only one that got away. He somehow escaped through all of that, and that's how he's they're just leading people back to the fucking house.
Yep.
And so
At this point, Sarah cuts through the screen, and she comes through, and I put LOL. I was just like,
once again, her character too was
the way
very
she
like
came through, I was like, okay.
it wasn't scary.
No, I put LOL at Sarah.
And then Tina somehow jumps through that same screen, and then
Which
like
I don't know if that
I
would have
did-
been my first choice.
yeah, and also too, I'm just like, wouldn't there probably be a wall behind that? But okay, no, go off.
Theoretically.
Into another room that's like just like rummage and whatever.
It almost looks like she's out of the house. Like she's in like the underground
Yeah.
beneath the house
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah,
Because it looks like it's almost outdoors.
it looks like a little cave.
yeah.
Like a water cave.
Yeah.
And so they're in there.
Like rocks and trees and,
and
shit.
then finally she sees like this opening, right? That's where she sees the opening where like we can get out through there.
But then Ben is like,
No,
being weird as
we've
fuck.
got to stay here. Like whatever.
and he's gonna kill her.
Yeah, he tries to attack her, but she ultimately ends up stabbing him.
And that stab brings him back.
Yeah, she stabs him in the arm, I think is what it is, and shoulder blade.
And
so,
I did love the immediate change of
yeah, he was
his
just like,
voice.
whoa, like what?
It was like
He's
we could tell
"What's-
he was
what's,
back.
What's happening? And she's like, Ben, whatever, we got to get out. And he's like, yeah. And then out of nowhere, Sarah comes up from behind him and grabs him and then just starts plunging the blade in him.
Right before that too, we also get the mom and the dad kind of in there.
Coming.
And the way it pans in on the mom's like face, and she's got that creepy smile. I loved it.
Yeah.
That should be the cover, which I think it is. It's like the thumbnail
One of
for
them?
a
Oh,
lot
okay.
of that, like when you look it up and stuff online.
Gotcha.
But
Very
it was a
Deborah Logan.
very good, little close up of her face and the way that like her head tilted with the smile, the way
Yeah.
it grew on her face. I was like, good job, lady.
Kudos to the filmmakers.
That was good. Yeah. But yes, Sarah's stabbing him.
Sarah's
Tink,
Sarah's
tink, tink,
killing
tink.
him. Tink tink, keep going. Sees the blood in the water. Tina's like, no, my baby, even though I kind of hated you a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then she tries to escape, which is also too.
And they're kind of going like
they're going
attacking
ham at her, yeah, trying to pull her back down, obviously. And
But
then
she
she's
ditches
like,
her gear.
she ditches her gear, and she's like, what I would assume, like, it seems like she's going through the bottom of like lake dirt. I don't know, like,
Yeah.
it's like very
kind of like a upside down situation, like
yeah, it was weird. I couldn't
or
tell
like an
where
as
we were.
above so below, and it's like you can't tell which way is
I
up
couldn't
or which way's
tell
down.
what was happening.
Yeah.
But she
I
breaks
first thought it was
through.
skeletons, and then I was like, no, those are twigs. Like,
Yeah, but
I
she,
was confused.
What it reminded me of, like, very marsh. Like she's going through a marsh.
Yeah, like she's
Or
in
the
shallow
Waco
water.
the Waco wetlands. And so she's coming through. She finally gets through the other side, and then she tries to swim up to the
And
surface.
the way that it pans out and shows like how deep she was,
they
I was
were.
like, ooh, that's creepy.
Yeah, and she's trying to get out. Still has
And
some,
she's literally so close.
so close. Finally is getting there. She takes the mask off halfway there. She's almost to the surface.
It looks
and
like she's
then
only like 2 meters or something.
really close, and it's
real
really
fucking
sad
close.
because, and as I'm watching it too, I know this feeling of like me just being stupid, like holding my breath and going really, really deep into water, and then realizing, oh, I got I bet more than I can shoot, and then trying to swim up and think, I mean, I'm still here alive today, but I know that feeling of like when you're almost like you can't, like you're right there, and it's so fucking scary. And at that point too, because you're just like flailing, like you can't even swim, like yeah, so very scary feeling. So
Yeah.
I was there with her, and then poor baby doesn't make it.
Yep,
She-
she just, I was like,
because at that
but
point
she dies. Like she was so close, and then I was just like,
I was very like, wait, no, like what?
What?
We were right. She was gonna.
I was like, she was right there, and then
What?
it cuts to credits.
Cuts the credits,
And I was
she's
just like,
dead.
What? She's dead? What?
And I guess it's the way that, I guess it wasn't, I don't know, because the house didn't even get her. Like she was so close, she was right there, and then it's just like you can just see her taking her last, like whatever, or losing her life. Yeah, it was very like, I guess I liked it because at the end, after it was done, I was like, okay, you know what? Okay, cool. Good on a horror movie that doesn't give me a survivor. Like,
Yeah.
like more realistic. Okay,
Everyone's
for sure.
dead. We
Everyone's
like it.
dead. Okay. But then also it was just like, man, she was so close. Like she was so fucking close. And it's the fact that, at least for her, I guess for Ben, I didn't really give a fuck because Ben was just being annoying and he deserved what he got because he was the one who like just gave no regards to anything else and just kept going. But I'm just like, man, she didn't even want to fucking be there.
Yeah.
Like this is like, poor girl.
Yeah.
Like, damn.
It was pretty sad.
She died for the dick.
She did.
Mhm.
But then we get the whole ending credits,
Mhm.
and man, such a small cast. I love when it's a little tiny cast like that.
Yeah.
And it was such a
'Cause there was literally 3 people.
yeah. And so it was so short. The ending credits are very short.
Mhm.
And then it cuts to, and we just see this, it's like panned in on her neck. And so we
Mhm.
see her little peace sign tattoo.
Yeah.
And then Pierre is led 2 more divers
Mhm.
to the place.
So Pierre is gonna keep doing the shit.
Yeah. They're sacrificing them. I guess it's prolonging their eternal life.
I have no idea.
I'm not really sure the
I
purpose.
don't know.
Of
That we
the
never got that. It's the
sacrifice.
way that too, like what I also didn't really enjoy for the whole movie is like I just didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
And then it didn't happen until, I mean, I could kind of piece together things, but like until they were in that theater room and then Ben is just basically explaining everything. And then I'm just like, oh, okay. But even then it just didn't, there was never like
There's
a
lot of
connection to
loose
why
ends.
we're here. Why should I care? Why should
Yeah.
I want these people to be alive? What? Yeah, it's just a lot of the threads weren't all there. Like the threads were there, but they weren't being interwoven together, I guess.
Because I don't mind being left in the dark.
Mhm.
I in fact, I love a good ending where it is open to interpretation.
Mhm.
And I am like, what the fuck is going on? What the fuck did I just see? Like,
Yeah.
what the hell? I love that. I love being left like that. But this one just seemed, the whole time going through it, I was like, okay, what's the point though?
Yeah,
like
same.
Some of this seems irrelevant and
Same.
almost like not necessary to the,
To the story,
yeah.
or almost completely. I was like, I wish it would have gave me a whole different story. Yeah, because
Exactly.
the premise, like underwater, deep house, like all of that, like I feel like those are really good bones. That's good
Yeah.
foundation, good
It
structure.
definitely
to give me
was.
something different. But I was just like, oh, okay, now we're in just
And
another house.
It
where,
was nice that it wasn't like a creature
Mm,
coming for them per se.
mm. 'Cause
That it
that's
was
maybe
more
what you would expect with the water kind of thing.
yes. And so I did like the fact that it was paranormal coming in there. But again, yeah, I wish it was executed better
Mhm.
because it's a beautiful, pretty original
Yeah, idea.
like idea. And yeah, I just couldn't
somewhere
follow
along
it
the
all the
way,
way.
it lost its
Yeah.
mojo.
It did.
But through and through, I was entertained
That's
in a
good.
sense. But I guess just because I kept asking questions the whole time, like why, what's up?
So how
But,
many boos?
I would give this a solid 2 boos.
2. That's where I am too.
I'm gonna give it 2 boos.
hmm The whole time I was just like, damn, I feel a little bad that I recommended this. I saw it on someone else who, like, their story, and I
Mhm.
typically trust their judgment of horror
Yeah.
films. And yeah.
But honestly, I mean, like I said, I didn't feel like I wasted my time either. But it was all right. It was pretty below average, middle of the road for me. But still, just 2 solid boos.
Yeah.
Honestly, guys, still maybe go watch it though if you want to.
Yeah. I mean,
I wouldn't say it's
a
that
lot
bad
of
that you
the
shouldn't watch it.
imagery and the scenery is very
Yeah.
cool. And I do like that underwater, like the murky, everything is hazy.
Mm-hmm.
And so it is kind of cool to see through that lens, and then just to see how this house is preserved. It's neat.
Yeah.
It is interesting. And the bodies and the people moving throughout are creepy. Sarah's just fun, laughable.
And her character too. I'm just like, it was the way that it was like an extra body and like kind of like
Yeah.
it might have been just fine with just the 2 parents.
That's
and
what
Pierre,
I
like
kind of
single
hoped
kid,
it was.
and not this other sister that was just kind of like randomly interjecting
Or I
herself.
would have liked the other kids who were sacrificed
Yeah, right.
for them to have been there.
Or to appear at some point as spirits to help them get
them
out.
get out, yeah.
Like yeah,
Like
kind of haunting, like cherubs.
Yes,
like
exactly.
little babies. Mm.
I could have gone for that. Yeah, Sarah's whole character was very like, okay,
Unnecessary.
why you here, bitch? Like,
Yeah. Other than to just like scream.
to make me laugh
Yeah.
at your face when you show up. I don't know, but yeah, two boos.
2 boos from your bays.
Yep, that's right. We're just 2 bays in a pod. 2 boo bays.
Yeah.
We are 2 boo bays.
We are.
We are 2 bays.
Between us, we got 4.
This movie got 2 boos.
2 boos. Yeah. And once again, we are in the lovely Rogue Media Network studios.
That's right.
Always taking good care of us.
There-
Make sure you
Cut
check.
out me choking on my water earlier.
Hopefully so. Make sure you check out all the other good shows that there's running on this network. Also, make sure that you listen to us. You can find us on
Lots of different streaming
Yeah.
platforms. Most notable or easily accessible being Spotify and or
Apple Podcasts, which if you do find us there, please rate, like, and subscribe
Yeah,
because
rate,
we
review,
need
subscribe.
you to.
It's the only way we can get ahead. You can also find us on exactly one social media platform, being Instagram at.
Boobays Podcast.
That's right.
All one word, Boobays, and that's BAES, not babes.
Yeah, not babes. We are your bays.
Mhm.
But yeah, this
That's
has
it.
been
This one is
the Deep
episode.
House 2021. You got 2 boos from us, and we're signing off.
Bye, bays.
Bye, bays.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.